Hello, everybody, and
We still got
welcome.
30 seconds. We haven't started yet.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, we have. Hello,
Swallow.
and welcome to another edition
Oh,
of Bring It to the Table. I am Connie Chung.
are you swallowing?
I ain't heard anybody say that in a long time.
That's because they normally don't say it when they swallowing.
I ain't heard that being said in a while. Wow. Welcome everyone to another episode of Bring It to the Table. I am me. They are they. They are they. And we are here. So I'm hoping that you're having a wonderful Thursday. Please forgive us on Tuesday. My colleagues, I love them so much. My family, my friends, they allowed me to do this on a Thursday because I was taping a special episode of Dancing with the Stars. Now, just mind you, our days have not changed. We are still going to be on Tuesdays. It was just that my family allowed me and allowed us to come into your homes and in your ears on Thursday. And I'm actually glad we kind of did that. So, Gene, if you please.
Gotta issue out a disclaimer. This one, as in all of them, actually, may be a little bit heated. There may be some profanity, some content that is just not for your children and your elderly people. So you bona fide Christians out there, log off.
Or pray for us during the show.
Yeah, and then come back later.
And while we're speaking on the Christians, I just want to say this little bit right here. Okay. When y'all go back to church, or some of y'all that are still ain't at church yet and the church is still closed down, this has been on my spirit to tell y'all this. Those young men that you have singing in your choir that you know are not going to marry a young lady, ease up on them, okay? It's okay. It's all right. Let them be church gay. And it's okay.
Church
All
gay.
right? It's okay.
The hell is
Cause
church?
see,
What
they
is
were gay before they got in the choir. They were gay while they was in the choir, but they didn't want to tell you. So, COVID has helped. So when they get back in the choir, let them be church gay. Now, as I say.
I don't even know how to follow that. But what he said.
I think what he's saying is
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
coming
was
from
so
behind, you need to
Hey,
pray.
Nasha. Hi, Claudia.
Hey, Claudia.
Is that what you mean?
I'm sorry.
When you're
Katie.
bringing up the rear that you need to pray?
Yes.
Ah,
No, I'm just talking about it's no longer time for folks to be isolating themselves and folks can't be who they really and truly are anymore.
about the
It's like,
closet.
let them people be church gay. Let them people. Oh, Claudia, thank you for my Luther. I had a really good time singing that song too. I did.
And Claudia, thank you for your message over my people that are dying. I love you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Oh, my people say. That's what Kirk Franklin
Oh, my people
would say. Oh, people say. I'm feeling good today, y'all.
I'm glad.
I'm tired as all outdoors. Dance with the Stars was Tuesday, then the other show premiered last night. And I feel incredibly blessed. I feel incredibly blessed. And I'm so glad to see my people.
Show. Don't just say the other show. Name the name of the damn show.
Well, we don't really do that. Okay, well, the other show.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Well, okay, fine. The other show is called I Can See Your Voice, and it premiered last night on Fox. And so, yes, I'm working on two network shows, you guys, on ABC and Fox. So
You entangled.
I can't really go into any more details, but you'll see it as it progresses. So there you go. But it's just a blessing because I know a lot of people, are not working and things like that. So
Yeah.
I just thank God for the favor. I really thank God for the favor.
Proud of you. So
yeah,
proud.
thank you, bro. Thank you, bro.
Yay!
Thank you, bro. Thank you. All right. I wanted to start it off with this question. Wendy, can you put up the all black screen that I had that asked a question about 2020?
Yes.
Since we're talking about TV shows. Anyone else concerned about the 2020 season finale?
The finale is normally the 3 damn episodes before the finale that fucks off.
Oh,
so
shit.
I'm worried about them.
Yeah, we got October, November, December.
Because somebody dies in the finale, man. Listen. I can't. 2020?
Yes.
I can't take no more.
Go ahead, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. What say you, Brother Byron? Not the ear scratch.
I'll swallow on that one.
Oh,
you know,
I
back to the Christian gay.
No, it's church gay.
Church.
Well,
You are so funny. You know, I just think of shit. It just
after Cameron was born, I reflected, and I was like thinking of things that are deep, and then it pissed me off that I was standing there plucking 4 hairs, and I was just like, "Fuck it, this is 2020. What else is gonna happen?"
You were thinking of things that are deep.
Yes, and then the hairs distracted me.
I'll hold there. I'll hold my mule on of you thinking of things that are deep.
I was. I was.
Well, what say you, Byron?
What's the topic?
Clearly, it's orange chicken.
What?
I'm hungry.
How do you think the year 2020 is gonna end?
You know what? I believe it's going to be amazing. I believe it's the birthing of everything. The birthing, it's the birthing of dreams. It's the birthing of new millionaires. It's the birthing of new vocations, of new relations, of a new way of operating. Yeah. I believe there's going to be a segment or a demographic of individuals that are still going to be in a quandary.
Yeah.
But they were already in a quandary before COVID. This just sped up and amplified that process for them to be clear that they're confused and lost.
Yeah.
And the people that are very intentional with their lives, they're by default adaptable. That means they're going to immediately evolve and figure out ways and understand that with the virtual worlds that we're living in right now, you are going to speed up the process of reaching more people, more market share, more contacts, even within your 2 shows. It's going to speed up the process. People are forced to be home, which is going to create more viewership for that which has content that is worth watching and that's truly going to be free. And your voice by itself has me turning on and dusting off a Sony TV that has a VHS.
He doesn't watch TV, y'all. He does not watch TV.
So I'm really excited about, the things that are going to actually mentally stimulate us to be able to move into new directions of life. It's going to take a complete hard turn in trajectory in every area: banking, financing, spirituality, business, entertainment, relationships. You got people this will be a record high going into the 2021 year. Yeah. The most divorces you've ever seen and the most birthing of children that you've ever seen. Yeah. That will rival. It is a whole new revolution of baby boom, because people are either they're looking for ass or they're running from what the ones they had. because of the social distancing. I mean, we stopped thinking the way, but I'm being very serious. People are the way people are claustrophobic, right? The way people operated in the pre-COVID time of I don't like people touching me. Oh, I don't. Oh, just it's nice meeting you. We met all of those people. Yeah. Now you're gonna see the people that are like, I can't live without being touched. I need a hug. I haven't touched. I haven't been hugged. I haven't been in social. Nobody's giving me a hug or kiss. I haven't gotten any attention or love. And that's going to be the birthing of a whole new realm. A whole new realm.
I think it's dual though, because I think the word birthing was perfect in describing it. Because coming from someone who's given childbirth, yes. Yeah. it was a beautiful thing after that shit was done.
Right.
But when you hear your pelvic bone break when you're pushing your child out, which none of you two motherfuckers have heard before, that part is the finale. Yes. Okay, so I feel the childbirth part is so surreal for me because I called my sister Erica right before the show. I was like, I feel like my skin is being peeled off.
Mm-hmm.
She said, literally? I said, no. Like spiritually and mentally and relationship wise, and it's just like, ugh.
I think I've peeled off enough. I think I've peeled off enough to where it's like down to my knees right now. Mm-hmm. Like the new birth is happening. My tolerance for a lot of things has changed. I know during this COVID time.
Amen.
And it's caused me to actually be more authentically myself. You know, I don't feel like I need to put on a front anymore, right. or not even in a negative sense. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I don't need to now entertain you. I can just be.
Right.
If that makes sense to a lot of our listeners out there. And I hope that during COVID, you know, a lot of people were posting, a lot of celebrities are posting, if you didn't get things done in COVID, you wasted. No, let me help you out with something. If the best thing that you could have done during COVID, and we're still in COVID, I'm just saying during the early parts of it, if the best thing you could have done was just put 2 feet on the ground, you did something. Mm-hmm. And you receive an applause for that, you know, because a lot of people
was doing something.
Yeah, you were still doing something. A lot of people just, they didn't know what to do, how to make it through, you know, and I want to say whatever you attempted to do, bravo to you during this time. Now that you've gone through that, get your ass up now. Okay. Get your ass on up, because it's things that only you can do that nobody else will be allowed to, that nobody else can. Things need to be birthed through you. So I need you to get on up and get on to the emergency room. And I know you're having contractions right now. So get ready to prepare to have that baby. All right. Because I'm going to tell you, when I was 23, I was trying to audition for American Idol. And I was like, oh, no. And I went to my aunt and I said, you know, she said, did you get it? I said, no. I said, because, you know, I don't sound like this. And I don't know. She said, stop. God gave only you your voice. You don't need to sound like nobody else. You don't need to try to be like nobody else. You can only do what you can do. And ain't nobody else going to do it. It has to come through you. So that's the word that I give every one of our listeners today, is that whatever your assignment is, get it done. You know, you get it done. Jonah spent 3 days in the well because he didn't want to do his assignment, because he kept running away from it. And when he was ready for it, he went on into Nineveh. So go on into Nineveh. You got some stuff to do. All right. All right. I'm sorry to go on a tangent. I just felt that in my spirit to say. But yes. How was y'all week?
I'm still in it.
You know, I always ask, you know what? I ask that every Tuesday, and you always give me the same response. You're like, it just began. I ain't seen you a week before that. So how was that week that I didn't see you? Shit.
It was okay. Look, that's it. No, I'm just being funny. You know, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. I don't, you know, pray, meditation, workout. I done sage twice today. Okay. So it's just a little bit of a shedding, you know. Okay. And I think I'm homesick. Yeah. I'm really homesick. I want to go home. I want to go back to it's funny now I can, right? They're lifting all the travel bans, but I'm back full force into work now. Like I go back into my corporate life starting tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. It's all right. Look,
no, I'm not complaining, because that's
we know you're not. Yeah.
But you got to acknowledge the fact that if you have taken this time off, it has created new habits that you now have to undo. Mm-hmm. Right. And, you know, so that's it. It's been good. It's been my birthday month. It's been calm. I'm reflecting on some things. I'm reflecting on people and just everything. And I'm cool right now.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Kyron?
Wait, Kyron, Morpheus, Byron, which one today?
I haven't figured it out yet. I've had 4 deaths in 7 days.
Good Lord.
So we're celebrating one of my friends who was vice president of Disney on Saturday, who died of brain cancer.
Jesus.
I had a very in-depth conversation about my cousin Edna with her daughter and her father today, yesterday, the day before. And the irony of that is that she was completely healthy less than 9 months ago. Less than 3 months ago, she was, well, in between that time, she had walking pneumonia. And then she got a bill of health, and then they gave her and administrated, they changed doctors, which is ironic. All this is happening during the time in which I've deep dived into health.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
With my programs and everything. It's just really, however God is aligning this, it's really the craziest thing I've ever seen. But all that being said, she changed doctors, changed medicine. And as soon as she took the medicine, in less than 4 months, her health rapidly declined. And she was completely healthy. She didn't have cancer.
I love Miss.
She didn't have cancer. She didn't have anything. But the fires kicked in. And that's what started the hard respiratory system kick. And she had I was talking to Kim, and she had an appointment on Friday. And Kim, forgive me if I'm giving too much information. I know we talked if you're watching this. I doubt that you're watching it, but just in case you get a glimpse of it. But they were supposed to go to the doctors on Friday. Because she was so tired, she didn't go. They rescheduled it for Monday. And the doctor was like, don't worry about it. Just keep her stress levels down, anxiety. There's nothing wrong with her. She's fine. By Monday, she was dead. So everybody is claiming all the paperwork on this. And it's just a very, that's just 2 of 4. It's just a very spiritually, I can't even say mentally, spiritually perplexing time. And anyone knows me and death have had the Grim Keeper have had a relationship for a long time, and it's just sped up. And I really don't know how to respond. I really don't. Mm-hmm. I go through bouts where right now I'm fine. And then when we get off this call, and I'll go and you guys know my strength factor. So I'll go and be like driving by myself and just pull over and just completely ball out of control. Mm-hmm. And I'm on this emotional roller coaster of the weirdest shit I've ever seen, to points where I'm deleting people or out, like you said, my tolerance level is I'm not going to say just low. It's completely different. My barometer of seeing people is completely different. My perspective when I hear a person's conversation about when they're talking about shit that 6 years from now won't matter, mentally deletes that person, that you aren't living your life to the fullest and understanding how important and how valuable this second right now is. I have people like Peter Anthony's on here, who is, it was, I call him my life force. He's one of my life force. He's one of the very few people that I have had a love-hate relationship with. And I say that in the way that I hate him because he's so much like me that we challenge each other in a certain space, which is the greatest blessing, to have someone like that in your life that mentally and spiritually challenges you and is so convicted, that is really committed to helping me. Very few people are like in that sort of mentality, like, what the fuck can I do to help you? I don't need shit. And what I do, I get paid thousands, if not millions for, but I just want to see you win. And to have a circle like that, I use him as just an example because he's committed to this show. But I got a handful of people like that I've had to push just a step back, because I don't know how to fucking deal with this space. Yeah. It's a lot fucking going on. That's just the depths. That's just not the life that we're all having to navigate through. Yeah.
But it makes you human.
The relationships, the parents, the family. I'll give you another example of what I really have come in. I was supposed to have a dinner with 3 people, starting with my mom, over 80. I found in this conversation of people 75 or older, I've become very clear that they have 2 conversations. Either number one, they're very excited about the memories that they've created and happy to be alive to take a step forward. There's some people that just have that spirit that is just like, I've lived a life. I just want to share my stories. Not one person over 75, 80 can you shut up past 5 minutes. They just want to share. And I was sharing this earlier. It's like when I'm driving, like to this a couple of days ago, I was driving and there was somebody in front of me and they were going slow. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get the fuck out. And then I get up on them and see they're like 75, 80 years old. I'm like, oops, take your time as you want. Because if you have a mother or a parent or someone you love that's over 75, because somebody does it to my mom, I'm stabbing them in their fucking neck. So you start to understand. It's like, you're over 75, take as I'm not supposed to go nowhere until you get where you're supposed to go. Take your time. Your anger goes out. Your frustration goes out only if you can relate to having somebody over 75 that you love.
Yeah.
But I found that people over 75, either they're really anxious to go to the grave or they're really anxious to share every moment they've been on this planet.
Mm.
There's only 2 lanes that they take after 80.
Yeah.
In the conversation. And some of them live in both.
Yeah.
A young lady named Mary, Mama Mary, Dom will tell you, and she's just like, I'm just tired. I'm ready to go.
Mm.
She's not like, I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
Now, I have another friend that I'm dealing with. His mother has already tried to kill herself twice. She's locked down. They don't have long-term care for people that have that kind of mental issue. And she's like, as soon as I get out, I'm killing myself. I have no reason to be here anymore. I'm like, and I mean, and he's like, this is the son. She's over there in London or somewhere in Ireland. He's here and he's like fucked up because he can't go anywhere with COVID. It's like, even if he goes there, you see what I'm saying? It's just, so it's a really perplexing spiritual conflict that I'm experiencing, more than mental, more than.
But
anything.
you know what I love about you, B, is that I love your human side more than your big personality that the rest of the world loves, because I feel like there's times where people strip us of our right to be human. And I went through that this week. I was like, shit, I'm not allowed to be vulnerable. I'm not allowed to make mistakes. I'm not allowed to not have it together. And then when you don't, those who never fucking have it together are looking at you like, how dare you not have it together? What the fuck is wrong with you? And you just want to say, if you don't go jump across this bridge and land on concrete, but you can't. So I tend to be drawn to the human side of the personality that most people don't want you to have. And I think that was my struggle this week. I'm like, I'm going to be a human. Fuck you. You're going to let me be human today.
Right.
And it might not look the way you want it to look like, but it's the struggle with when you become the human that most people don't want you to be. They can't even help you. They can't even.
And that's even a bigger.
It's almost that like they feel disrespected that you're being human, and you just want to say.
And you hit the nail on the head. 90% of people that give you the stress, give you the angst or the anxiety, aren't even in a position to fucking help you. Not mentally, not emotionally, not financially.
Anyway,
it's like having 23 hours of blissfulness and 1 hour of fuckery, and it messes up all those 20 hours of blissfulness that you have. Yeah.
And they're like, I'm gonna stay out of your way. That's helping you. What? No, I don't even. I can stay out of my own fucking way. I'm not to lock a door and close and stay out of the way. What do you mean you're staying out of? That's not helping me.
I know how to send you the voicemail already. I don't need your help.
Delete, control.
I know how to block you.
Right, bloop. Anyway, that was our rant. Y'all got to see our human side. So what?
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get on into it. Today there was the funeral of RBG, and when Trump walked up to the casket outside, he and his wife were standing in between the casket, and as I was watching it live on CNN, I heard, ooh, ooh, and I thought, seriously. I thought the wind was making a noise because it was bouncing off the microphones and you can hear. And I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden you hear, boo, boo, vote him out, vote him out. Why is he standing there? At the casket is right here. He's on one side. Melanesia is on the other. And
Melanesia?
Not him. I mean, vote him out. Vote him out. And I'm sitting there. He looks. He closes his eyes.
You know what?
He nods, and then his wife turns away, and he follows her, and they go inside of the Capitol.
So now I'm in a position where I gotta defend Trump. Ain't that some shit? Write this one down. Write it down. You guys chose someone's funeral and made it about orange face. That wasn't even the time or fucking place to do that. How dare you? Do we want him voted out? Absolutely. But that was not the time, people, to have that rant. You should have called his ass or stood outside of the damn White House to say that.
Well, I want you to think about this as I'm going to say this. He didn't go to John Lewis's funeral. Okay? He didn't go to John McCain's funeral. He went to a woman who stated publicly she did not like him. And he stood in between her casket. For what? To show your patriotism to this woman?
Out of there. What? My thing is,
I agree with the people. Okay, even
if I agree with the people to vote him out too, but let's remove black, white politician out of the situation. That is my mother's funeral. I am sitting there at my mother's funeral, and this asshole shows up at my mother's funeral. Right?
And stop right there. He had no business being there.
Business being there.
He had no business being there.
But let me tell you something. He wouldn't have got in at my mother's funeral. So if you felt like he had no business being there, he shouldn't have been let in. So the fact that y'all let him in to get close enough to the casket, and now you're going to take the time out of my mother's funeral to make it about him?
But in all honesty, he's not a regular person. He's the president of the United States. So we can't.
If he's the president of anything, if I don't want him at my mother's funeral, I will flip the casket over before I let him come.
Actually, well,
there is. I get it. But this is not the case though, because this man thought he was showing patriotism to his base by being there. And there was no other reason. Because why didn't you go to John Lewis's or John McCain's funeral? Well, first of all, you wasn't going to John McCain's. Well, all the presidents were there. All the former presidents were there.
But I don't think that's the time to address that. At the funeral, like the family is there for that person. And now all of a sudden we yelling, vote Trump out? Vote him out? Like, can we just have this one moment to focus on the fact that I just lost my loved one? I don't give a fuck about you or them. You to say and vote them out and him being there. Because I swear to you on God, he wouldn't have made it through those doors.
And for all of those who are listening on to our service, God bless America.
But since y'all let him in,
may Jesus love you.
God bless America.
Take the time to talk about it. That's just me. I don't think that was the right time to yell, vote him out. In this one moment, my last moment with my loved one, and we talking about this bastard. Who let him in? I want to fuck him up. Who let him in? Whoever let him in the door, y'all need y'all ass beat. I'm coming
again.
For you.
He is the president of the United States, and it's a little different than being Joe Schmo from down the street.
I'm gonna say it this one last time. If my mama passes away, or anybody that I love, if something happened to one of y'all and he shows up, he can't come in. I'm gonna cause a scene at the door before he get in. The scene gonna be outside, so y'all can go in there and
no. So he wasn't outside. I mean, inside. He was outside. They had her casket standing at the doors of the Capitol, and so when he walked up, the casket was still there, getting ready to be taken inside, and he and his wife stood there for a time of mourning, just to show publicly that he was in mourning, and he was, with everyone.
You know what I know about Donald Trump? That's true. If somebody had publicly stated prior to him being there that he wasn't welcome, he wouldn't have came.
True. Okay.
Anybody want some pineapple?
Next. Tired of talking about his bitch ass.
Pineapple? Did you say pineapple?
Yes.
I have pineapple.
And his little hoe ass wife.
Pineapple boy.
That pineapple.
I want to get out of damn pineapple.
Pineapple good for us. Shit. This for later.
Yes.
The pineapple is for later.
Yes.
I can't even put these two motherfuckers.
No.
Well,
I wanted to tell y'all about what? Taste and see? What'd you say?
I said
I just said it was well, y'all do realize y'all,
well, if you're eating pineapple, we know it tastes great.
Yeah.
Follow it up with no asparagus, because that shit will cause niggas to break up on that shit.
I hope y'all ain't doing dinner and asparagus is on the menu, because later you can cut that out.
I don't even cook it.
I want to let you guys know that. So September 15th, 2020 through October 15th, 2020, it is Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah.
Y'all know that? Yeah, it's pretty good. Go ahead, Wendy, put that up there. Yeah. It's National Hispanic Heritage Month is a period from the 15th of September through 15th of October in the United States for recognizing the contributions and influence of Hispanic Americans to history, culture, and achievements of the United States. And so we salute you with the high five. It's Hispanic Heritage Month. And me being from Texas, trust me, I know all about this month right there. I know all about
Colombia and Mexico, and I love it.
Yeah.
I believe that the Latin race has made many accomplishments in my world.
You know.
Are you English Mexican? What
I'm confused where you from right now.
What was that?
What contribution was that?
What accent was that? I heard of Mexico and old English. Are you Spanish?
What is that?
If you Mexican English?
That was no hablo Spanish. I didn't understand what that was.
If you add pineapple to it, that's what you get.
Okay. Te di todo mi amor y más. Y tú no reconoces ni lo que es amar.
This is another human moment right now.
Because for a minute I was about. Oh, let me not say that on air. I'm glad I caught myself on that one. I'm glad. Yes. All right. So, you know what? I'm going to tell you why I love Hispanic Heritage Month. First of all, I grew up in Houston, of course, Texas. And a lot of my friends and everything were Latino. And so they thought I was, because I had this big curly fro thing when I was a kid, they thought I was Latin. And so a lot of my friends, they would come in and be like, ¿Esto hispana? I'd be like, no sé. I'm like, ¿Tú no hispana? No sé. What are you? I was like, human. But I ain't gonna lie, I love me a good old tortilla wrapped in butter. I ain't lying. It's so good. It's so great and warm. And you toast it over the stove. Brian Atterbury. La vida loca.
La vida loca.
Then again, you like a tortilla wrapped in butter.
Butter.
But when you grill it in the pan, you should put butter in it.
You gotta have butter on top.
You guys actually talking about real food.
Oh yeah. You know what?
Wait a minute. Why did I just have like I went down to pick up my watermelon. I was like, oh.
Get him off the screen. Time fucking out. Speaking of some
well, we got people on here. Just a second. I want to highlight at Brian. Hi, Zoe. That's my Latin baby right there. We got Ms. Yancy on. Claudia, our faithful. Yeah, that gives us time to eat some pineapple and watermelon. And we got Fatnay, Hala, Dwayne, because you can't see these names at the end. So Serena, in case y'all pop off with her. Patricia, always with us. We love you. Caroline, loving you to death.
Caroline.
Got my Serena. Fatnay, I want to make sure I'm not Monique. She's always on with us. Sorry for the loss. You're more than welcome. Thank you. Let me see here. Hold on, and then we jump back into the show. We got Alicia. We got Nani over in Australia. No, Nani is actually in New Zealand, I think. Dwayne up in Canada. Brandy, always with me. Love you, baby. Okay, now we can get back into it. I'll bring it back.
All right. So you know how Byron Kyron is always on here talking about diversifying your money and things like that. Well, I want to tell you guys something about Wells Fargo. So today, the Wells Fargo CEO apologizes about comments about diversity. So it says, according to AOL.com, Wells Fargo CEO Charles Scharf apologized Wednesday for comments he made suggesting that it's difficult to find qualified Black executives in the financial industry. Scharf said in a memo to employees, quote, there is a very limited pool of Black talent to recruit from, end quote, in corporate America. The memo was written in June, but became public only this week. The comments and similarity statements made in a Zoom meeting reported by Reuters led to an intense backlash in Washington and on social media. What do you guys think?
Fired.
He's actually not.
He will be.
because he issued an apology. And but I mean, can we go? You know, both of you, this is your world. How many qualified Black folks do we have in the fight? To me, what a broad, shitty statement. Like, really, like.
I think it's a double-edged sword. Here's what I'll say. How there are many qualified Black people in the financial industry. I think I want to say, what is he talking about? His C-level management, his VP level management? Because there are a lot of Black people that work as senior. My sister is a senior. She was a senior underwriter for Wells Fargo, to be exact.
So he did say it's Black executives. So I'm assuming,
So I'm going to say that there may be a slither of truth to the slim pickings. But what I will say, to not co-sign of what he's saying, is a lot of times that person, even if they are qualified or overqualified, may still not get the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Just due to traditional nepotism and what's going on in the industry. So I think you got to be careful, because are there a lot of Black people in C-level management and as executives? There's still a small percentage compared to them. If you're comparing apples to oranges, the question is are you fairly choosing through those slim pickings?
That was my next. Yeah.
That's the question. So there may be, if you actually pull some stats and some numbers and say there's X amount of percentage of African Americans, male and female, in this industry versus white Americans and Asians and go down the list, that actually may be true from a numerical standpoint, from a stat standpoint. But like Ruben just put up, we know a lot of Black people that are qualified. Do they feel confident enough to apply for those jobs? Are they aware that those jobs are there? Are they even a part of the process? That's the question. Maybe he hasn't seen many come across because
he's not looking for them.
They're not looking. They're not looking.
Byron?
Wells Fargo commercial starts off with some horses and a buggy going through the Wild Wild West that is traditionally known as being biased and racist, which is why me and my family closed the account eons ago. It's biased and racist towards its own client base. There's so many manipulation of money that was done inside of Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is part of the problem, not the solution, and has been for many years. So for this, I don't know him to call him what I want to say, but for the ignorant statement that was posted, no, there's more than enough qualified people of color for the slim pickings of the positions that he's having, all the way up to his position that I could replace him in a heartbeat with one phone call. So that's just an ignorant statement said that's just now getting exploited because of the circumstances, and thank God it is. The apology is a bullshit apology because of
I agree.
Backlash. So, you know, he didn't mean that shit. He did that. I am too. He said he gave an apology for to be politically correct and to keep his ass in his job.
And he's not sorry that he said it. He's sorry that he didn't like it. And we got to be clear about that. Sorry, I went through a similar situation with Online Trading Academy, and I'm gonna say their name because I don't give two fucks. I'm gonna say their name because, and I had an instructor there refer to me as Aunt Jemima, and he thought it was funny.
Did you make good pancakes?
Listen, he thought it was funny, and as we went through, I'm not gonna go through the story. But one, the company said she doesn't have enough business wherewithal to give him grace. That was their response. Second, he apologized to me.
Did you? What? Because he was outed?
Because he was outed. And what they wanted me to do was, hey, if he says something like that again, we coached him. I said, really? Walk me through, how do you coach a bigot? What does coaching a bigot look like? Please. I've been in HR for over 10 years. I've worked with several companies. I've never coached a bigot before. Walk me through that. Well, we can't share that with you, but he really didn't mean it. And no, he meant it because he said it twice. And he's in his mid-30s, so I know you know fucking better. If he was 97, I might have gave him a little bit of a pass and said, you grew up during that time, but I didn't. And I stood my ground and said, I will not work with this person. You must transfer him somewhere else. And they were like, well, he's coming back. But when he apologized to me, I said, I said to him, you're not sorry that you said it. You're sorry that I didn't like it. Two different things. His next statement was, you have my full support to go down any lines you want to go to. Second, I don't need your fucking support to do anything. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And now that you've given me your blessing, I'm really going to do it now.
What do you both consider a genuine apology from statements like these?
You're fired, and then in turn, you then give an apology.
Okay.
I said to the company, I said, I'm not asking you to fire him. I'm asking you to get him out of our sector. Send him somewhere else. I said, that's the only grace I will extend. However, is it possible for someone to apologize? Yes. Let me tell you how. If he had said, I grew up thinking that was okay. And even though I know it might have been a little bit sensitive, I didn't realize how painful that could have been to you. And I'm sorry I hurt you. He could have said that, and I might have bought that.
Okay.
You understand? But
yeah.
I know that there's no genuine feeling of that. So that apology would never come, because he didn't feel bad about that, because that's how he felt.
Okay.
You get it?
I do.
It's hard to apologize for being a bigot. You're not sorry that you're a bigot. You're sorry that people don't like it. There's a difference.
Wow. That then you get
you're
me. Sorry that people don't like it. Yeah.
And now you got to work with. Now I'm the black bitch all day. Cheers. And now I'm gonna stay on that road until I don't feel like walking down it no more.
So let me take you guys here. When Obama was in office, it was about 200 and some odd days before he had to leave, where he was trying to get a new Supreme Court justice elected. Now the Republicans are trying to push ahead with plans to confirm a Supreme Court nominee with 40 some odd days before the election. They're now changing their narrative by saying that it was different when Obama was there because it was blah, 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 blah. But now, with less than 40 something days before the election, they're trying to hurry up and get somebody in there so Trump can put them in the position. How do you feel about that?
It's a chess move. This is chess. They're playing chess. It's hard to have feelings about a game that's naturally played that way. I try not to feel about it, because even though he is an asshole, he is supposed to play his asshole card to the fullest. He's supposed to try to get what he's supposed to get.
Do you guys see familiarity with corporate gentlemen that with the same actions that Trump has displayed? I would ask that for Eugene. Yeah,
absolutely. I work for a company like that right now.
Mm-hmm.
That as long as you play nice, and I had a conversation with Peter not too long ago, and he was like, as long as you know the rules to the game, you have to decide whether or not you want to play the rules. And I've always lived by that in my corporate life. There are certain things that there are some rules to the game that I know I don't like. I don't have a problem playing. However, you do not get to disrespect me because of your rules. You do not get to degrade me or make me small or mistreat me because of your rules, especially if I correct your behavior. Because I will give you an opportunity to correct your behavior. So back to that, that's normal. There's always politics. There's always BS. Always a bigot in place. There's always a chauvinist in place. There's always a homophobic person in place. They are all there. They will all be there. You can never change that. You have to learn how to connect to the person that can help you get over the hump.
Yeah. And also I think we should be clear about this. I do not hate a Republican. I have them in my family. I do not hate them at all. I hate Trump's Republican world that he's created, because it's now become more than a political party. It's become a religion, in my opinion. And I will tell you that. So please don't think that we hate all Republicans, because one of my cousins that's a Republican, I love her to death. I think she's just one of the most amazing people that I know. But I just think that the actions of this man, in which he has stood behind, saying that it is the world of Republicans. I think that that's where things get misconstrued. So please don't believe that we hate Republicans, because we don't.
I don't hate Republicans either. Listen, there's Crips and Bloods in my family. I am not a gang member.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There are Democrats and Republicans in my family. I am neither. I don't associate with any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you associate yourself to a group of people, I think you lose a piece of yourself.
I agree.
There's some things about Republicans that I do agree with from a money standpoint, from a business standpoint, right? But I would never associate myself and be diehard like it's a fucking fraternity and associate myself with that party. I associate myself with me.
Yeah.
And my family. So whatever falls on that side, that's what I'm going to deal with. But I'm not claiming any of you motherfuckers. None of you.
Yeah. I want to switch gears for a minute because I think it is time to talk about it. Gene, in early discussions, we have things where we're going to talk about, we're going to post. I'm stumbling right now because I've been numb, but it's now coming up to it.
Yeah.
I think, Gene, can we start with you and what September 23rd? I think what people should know, the correlation with that date.
Breonna Taylor.
Yeah. Can you bring it up? You want her to bring it up?
I want her to bring up the purple banner first. And justice for Breonna Taylor. And for those of you that don't know, because I know I have some people that follow me that are a little bit disconnected, that are not of color, and that may not know who she is. Breonna Taylor in March was in her apartment sleeping with her boyfriend. And a raid that went wrong, police basically raided the wrong apartment, came in with guns drawn. Boyfriend pulled out his gun because he thought it was a burglar, which, by the way, his gun was registered and legal. There were some fired shots exchanged, and Breonna was killed. She was murdered in her apartment. 3 police officers were part of that process. They arrested her boyfriend. They tried to hold him on charges for shooting at the police when really he was just defending himself because he thought it was a burglar. And she was an essential worker during that time. That was in the height of the pandemic. Okay. They never prosecuted Breonna's murderers because she was murdered, right? And they've gone through this process, as we talked about last week. Breonna's family received a civil suit for $12 million. They took the money. But at the end of the day, we wanted someone to be responsible for
Wendy, can we pull the purple back up? I just want to see that. As you keep going,
I'm sorry. To see her face, because I know all of you who say, oh, I'm not on social media, I don't know what this is. I will put money on it. You've seen this name. And if you've seen this name, now you know why you've been seeing this name. She was murdered by 3 police officers sleeping in her home. She wasn't protesting. She wasn't out in the street causing trouble. She wasn't talking back. She wasn't resisting arrest. She was asleep and never got to wake up, and was murdered in her home, where she was safely after coming back as an essential worker from working, and was murdered. Now pull up the slide, the next tweet, Wendy. There's been a lot of talk about this from, Colin Kaepernick has spoke about it. You've seen LeBron James spoke about it. And the police officer, basically, the jury indicts former officer Brett Hankinson with 3 counts of wanton, which I've never heard of, endangerment in first degree.
Neither have I.
That went into, now listen, clearly, for bullets that went into other apartments, but nothing for the murder of Breonna Taylor. This is an outrageous offense. I hope you understand that he was charged with basically reckless endangerment for his stray bullets entering other people's apartments, and not for the murder of her. Now, Kerry Washington tweeted, and I thought her tweet was very interesting because it goes back to what you were talking about earlier. Daniel Cameron, he's on Donald Trump's shortlist as a for RGB on the Supreme Court. Same man who decided not to charge the officers responsible for killing Breonna Taylor. We can't have people like this making decisions at all, people. But Colin Kaepernick, never quiet, forgotten, never got his justice. The white supremacist institution of policing that stole Breonna Taylor's life from us must be abolished for the safety and well-being of our people. But what I really loved, and I saved for last, was LeBron James, because this is how I feel every day. The most disrespected person on earth is the Black woman. And I promise you, I'll do my best to change this as much as I can and even more. Love you. Love to you, queens all over this country and beyond. His tweet probably gave me the most emotions because I think we're so used to being disrespected and not being put on that pedestal and getting the brunt, not just from white people, but from our brothers too. Being that backbone that has to take the most, and we're accused of being strong and having attitudes because we have to do more.
Mm-hmm.
We got more on our shoulders. We're mom, dad, executive. My grandmother always told me, make money like a white man. Screw like a prostitute, cook like a fat girl, fight like a man, mother like a midwife. That's a lot of fucking work. And we're doing it.
Like a whore.
I said that already.
Oh, my bad.
I just used
bathe like a whore. Bathe like a whore.
It goes back to that human feeling. When you take a break from one of those and the world's looking at you, even your household and friends and family looking at you like, how dare you take a break from being all of that?
And see, that's what people need to also understand. Everybody wants to, say, vote or die and vote, with the president. What you have to understand is you have to start voting your city legislation as well. And Congress.
Slow down. Congress. I need you to slow down and say it slowly because this is This is the most important piece and component that misses the masses that allow the white classes to keep us separated, divided, ignorant, and thinking we actually did something. Everybody's saying vote, but they aren't teaching you where you need to vote for it to make a difference within your community. So you put somebody in the presidential office and think he actually has the power to do something for your people in their own personal communities. So it ain't got shit to do with it. It's a puppet at a higher level. There's just a voice that you get a chance to have an opinion about. So I need you to slow down, see, and just break that down and say it again.
So I need you all to do your due diligence to research who's in your city legislation.
That's right.
Because you not knowing is the reason why they are in there, is the reason why Trump is where he is. It's not because you were ignorant. To a certain extent,
no, it is.
You need to start realizing who's in your city legislation, and also you need to start worrying about Congress. Congress, who gets voted into Congress?
All those old people.
That's who you need to worry about. The president has no power without Congress, and so those that you are voting into Congress is what's feeding and what's giving him food. Okay, so make sure that when you're doing the city votes, like for councilman, mayor, governor, you need to concentrate on that level, okay? Because the president ain't doing nothing but signing off what Congress wants him to do.
I wore this shirt today for that reason. This is my uncle's line, popular nobody. Yeah. And I always thought it was something fun and catchy. And then today, I was like, shit, I feel like a popular nobody as a woman, as a black face.
Yeah.
Right. We get accolades for holding it down and doing all this stuff. And I was like, but I'm not allowed to have a mental breakdown. I'm not allowed to be sad. I'm not allowed to be upset about what's going on in the world because it's just normal.
Yeah.
Yet Karen can cry because she has anxiety because she got a bad rating on her employee report. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The degree of my ability to respond to anxiety and sadness and hurt and pain, these certain people would not be able to handle what we've had to endure.
Right.
At all. When you're out here getting psychiatric reviews because you're concerned about what somebody said to you online. Not to make it small.
I want to address what Fatina said. It's not that the KKK's elders are dying, because you can still leave a legacy of hate, and because hate is taught. What it is that there has to be a rethinking. There has to be a reform of that type of hate, because you only hate me for one specific reason, that I'm going to retaliate on your ass one day. To me, it even goes beyond the color. It's that you know that you have set up so much hate that I'm going to one day rise and retaliate on you. And that is why there is so much hate still being spewed across the nations and across the it's not even just the KKK. You got the skinheads, you got all of them. You got
But
all of them.
Fatinay also needs to understand that there's always a successor. There's always someone that they're grooming
Always.
to take their place. It doesn't die.
Always. That is why I need, and I cannot, I'll say this again. You guys need to start paying attention to your city legislation. You guys need to. You need to do as much as you hate Trump. You need to take that same behavior and research what's going on in your city and who's sitting on your who's sitting on your children's superintendent board. How about that? That's who you need to be worried about. That you need to be worried about what's going on in your local community, because a lot of times all that money that's being allocated, you're missing out on it because of who you are allowing to be sitting at those tables. Okay, so just make sure that you're doing that. And also, so 2 years after this election, Congress is going to have some more voting. Make sure you do your research on who's going to be put in and put out. I need you guys to really hear that, because those are the most important. See, that's what celebrities get it twisted. Celebrities get a lot of times in their egos, and they want you vote him out, vote him out, vote him out. No, you need Congress. That's who you need to be worried about. And I want to know how many celebrities are going to be telling you that.
You know what? Speaking of the celebrity thing, let's really go back and dive back into 2016 when Orange Face was voted in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see Puffy and all of them out there doing go to vote and fight to vote. And I didn't see that same tenacity that we had when we were putting Obama in office. Because
a lot of them voted for Trump.
And you hit that right on the.
They did. They thought it was great to have this reality show because Trump had been he'd been their friend, he'd been their homie. Oh, he been.
Fuck them. They voted for Trump. That's that bullshit right there. Not one celebrity was doing a vote and don't do this and not one. 2016 was quiet as a fucking mouse. Y'all basically handed that over to him. And now all of a sudden you want us to follow you again. Well, I see why Kanye going fucking crazy.
So back to the 23rd, when I remember my grandmother telling me stories about Emmett Till. And my grandmother was from Mississippi. I used to go there every summer. We used to have so much fun. And my grandmother, though, would always have this thing about, if we were in department stores, don't you touch nothing. Don't you walk directly behind me. You better not, don't even. And I'm like, Grandma, it's a department store. I'm supposed to touch. I'm supposed to look. I'm supposed to hold. But I have to think about her mindset in being in Mississippi. You had to almost not be seen. And that's what she carried. Yeah, that's what she carried through her life. And I don't believe in things being coincidences. I just don't.
Coincidence.
The fact, I don't believe that,
It's no coincidence.
Breonna Taylor and I don't believe this is a coincidence.
I remember the story. Actually, I remember a story that Les was telling, Mr. Les Brown was telling me.
Yes.
As we sat down and he was giving me a midnight story, almost like a little kid sitting at the foot of the bed. And he said he drank from the white water faucet in Mississippi.
Oh,
as a child. And the police officer started to approach him.
Oh, wow.
And his mother beat him like he had never been beat before in his life.
In front of the police officer?
In front of the police officer.
If she didn't do it, he would have watched.
No. If she didn't do it, he would have killed him.
Jesus. Yeah.
So she had to explain that after she got him home. Had I not taken that measure to that degree, to the point that you could not walk, that white police officer would have intentionally shot you, killed you, beat you, and maimed you for every black person to see, to make sure that you're an example. And so there are no coincidences.
Put that back up again so people can understand the value of the date. September 23rd.
65 years to the day.
I often wonder, is there somebody behind who's pulling strings and saying, do it on this day?
Absolutely. Careful with that question. very fucking careful with that question. Because as Mr. Anthony always says, you got to know the rules to the game. And there's some rules that we are not privy to.
Mm-hmm.
The average person will never be privy to.
Yeah.
If they were, they wouldn't exist. Those rules
Yeah.
wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Because if people really understood how things are deliberately planned out and done,
Mm-hmm.
and how much power we really don't have, and how the freedom of speech and rights is nothing but a big ass illusion. And forgive me for sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but there's always some truth told in a joke. Yes.
Oh, always. Shakespeare said there's truth in
Always
every
some
jest.
truth told
Yeah.
in these conspiracy theories, and
Yeah.
they want you to believe that there's a possibility it might not be true. When it
Which
is.
leads me into the movie you saw, Antebellum.
Yes, Antebellum. I hope you guys go out and watch it, because it's sad.
Movie theater's open. You said go out and watch it.
I mean, actually,
In your
watch it.
home. In your home.
home.
You know, you can do movies in your home now.
It's on demand.
We're not
And
encouraging y'all to go get COVID.
if you honestly, the cinematography, the storyline, it's very unique and it's very original.
It's Jordan
But
Peele.
I believe in my heart of hearts, this storyline has been played out before in real life. And I'm not going to give the movie away, but it does take place in around some slave times, right? So, and it shows a picture of people in today's world that if they could get away with making the old world true again, they would.
It goes from past to present. I mean, from present to past, right? I think I saw the preview of it. I didn't. It
That's what
bounces.
they want you
It
to think.
bounces.
That's what they want you to think. It goes
Okay, I'm gonna definitely watch it.
It's a great movie. Janelle Monáe did a fucking damn good job in that movie. She deserves all the accolades for
She's
it.
a friend of mine. Hey, Jay.
Who are giving bad reviews to the movie, they're hating on it because it was done so well.
It's because of where we are now. It's because of where we are now.
Yeah,
You know, I
now,
think I'm tired of I'm tired of talking about the same thing.
I am exhausted mentally.
I
am.
Did you guys, you know, and I'm going to pull this up next week. Did you guys hear Martin Luther King Jr.'s granddaughter's speech?
No.
About a month ago? Oh, it was absolutely, I'm going to bring that up next week. It was absolutely beautiful. And you can hear her grandfather's timbre in her voice. And it was just, it was moving. It was very powerful. Byron, I want you to talk about the things that Black folks, young Black men, young Black women should be preparing for in these next coming months. What steps they need to take, as if everybody has earthquake kits, like we had an earthquake last week. What's in our kits that we need to have coming and moving into 2021?
I wish I had time to load this. I actually was reading an article. As you know, I stay in the financials mostly.
Okay.
And actually, for bulletproof vests for children are up 400%.
Wow.
Bulletproof vests for children
in the U.S.
Are up 400%. It is the number one. In fact, damn, I wish I had time to pull it up. I'll pull it up next week. It's actually it's actually in Black Enterprise. It's actually in Black Enterprise. Let's find it. It's amazing. It was just sent to me. So, answering your question specifically, you know, it sounds cliche. It's almost funny if looked at from a different lens. But as my grandmother says, common sense and deodorant are cousins.
I like that.
Why they're cousins is because the people who need it most don't use it. Our children need common sense. They're going to need mentorship to teach that common sense. Just like we caution people that, you know what, I'll tell you honestly what would be, and we could actually do it because, you know, it doesn't matter who has the ideas, who actually takes execution and applies it. We could actually do a documentary that today would not be hard. that would mirror for specifically blacks, but minorities and people as a whole, not specific to blacks, but geared for blacks, young men and women. And it would be a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
This mirror would be for what they need to look out for, what is, what was, and what will happen if you don't.
Okay.
And it would be
I like this.
It would be a complete mirror that was the most effective, profound, disruptive movie for over 2 decades, minimum 3, called Scared Straight. Y'all remember Scared Straight?
I do remember Scared Straight.
Yeah.
They showed that to us in schools when we were children. You fuck up, this is what happens when you go to jail.
Except this is what happens when you're dealing with racism in life. I'm down.
Yeah, I'm down too.
Especially for women and for men and kids.
Yep.
I think it's threefold, really.
Yep.
You got women, men, children. There's
Yep.
a perspective that is different for all three.
And here's the result. Here's documented results back to back to back to back of how these people responded and what happens when you respond this way.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you put yourself in these positions.
Yeah.
Or if you show up in these areas and arenas.
Like we have home economics, we need to, how to respond to the police, how to handle racism in the workplace, how to deal with racism, period. Like
100%.
Driving while black, we need a whole class on that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What is Planned Parenthood? Why was it created for you? Because it was.
You
didn't know that. Planned Parenthood was built for us to stop procreation within us. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Klan built Planned Parenthood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then their white kids started going.
That's what I would think.
Mm-hmm. You know, did y'all hear? It was while we're talking about this. There was a man in Nebraska. He was charged with killing some of the protesters. Do y'all remember that story? It made it pretty big. It was a white business owner. He was charged with manslaughter for fatally shooting a black man during one of the protests in Nebraska. Well, he ended up committing suicide today because he was getting in. You know, he just literally days after his indictment, he committed suicide. It said he was found dead in Nebraska and outside of a medical clinic. And the problem I had with that was he was convicted of manslaughter. Why was he not taken immediately from the courtroom to jail? Why was he allowed to go home and await sentencing? We lost you. I read your words.
Go home and pick his feet up on the counter and decide, I guess they're going to call me back.
Surprised? Are you really surprised?
There's very little surprise these days.
I'm
shocked.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
So you're bothered by it.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
I'm bothered.
Which you should be.
Yeah.
But that's normal.
Yeah.
This shit is normal.
Yeah.
Right? And
isn't that the condition? You are meant to be nothing, and that is your normal.
That is your normal.
I want to condition you to feel that this is your normal. You will not win in America. That is your normal.
How can you blame a system that was never created to protect us? How can you?
I'm going to give $12 million to Breonna Taylor's family for killing her, but I really didn't do it.
I shot bullets in other people's walls, and that's what I'm being held accountable for.
Can I just get some plaster?
Yeah. Yet there are people in Rikers right now for stealing a car for 7 years who couldn't afford to bail themselves out, being raped and beat up on over lesser charges.
Lori, what's her name? The one that lied and got her daughter into school.
Gets to choose where she goes.
Gets to choose where she goes.
Gets to choose her federal prison.
When the black
That's not
lady
for your
who
ass.
wanted and the black lady who wanted her child not to go to a school district where her daughter might be harmed, lied and used someone else's address, got 5 years in prison.
Got 5 years in prison. Hey, did Bill Cosby get to choose where he went? Because he's rich. No, I didn't think so.
She gets to choose when she goes.
I hope they beat her ass when she's in there. I'm sorry. Oh, she gets raped by a toilet paper dildo. I'm sorry.
And you know what? I want to
Break
hear
her
from
up.
more. I want to hear from more white celebrities other than Jane Fonda. You know, what I'm noticing with a lot of the white female celebrities, they push it to women's rights and not black rights or not Black Lives Matter. A lot of them will push the agenda to women's rights because they don't want to lose out on their jobs. And they don't want to, because in a lot of areas, women are still in the minority and they don't want to lose that thing. And I'm sitting here looking at that like, now you really know what it feels like to be black.
Can I say this, though? The country was in an uproar, right? As we should have been when George Floyd was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us are
not just the country, the world.
The world, right? A lot of us are back at work. I expected the same tenacity for Breonna's verdict. But you know what? We didn't get that all over the world.
Yeah.
Like we did for George Floyd. Because you know what? People are back on their jobs. They're back in their regular lives. They're not trying to disrupt who they are. See, the thing in March and April when everything was going down, people had nothing but fucking time.
Do y'all both still think being black is on trend right now? With corporations, with television, with everything. Y'all think it's still on trend?
Trend, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It is. And we have to ride that wave, and we need to get as much done as possible during this trend before it's over.
Yeah. So many of you guys know that our brother Byron, he does what's called diversified. What is it again? I want to make sure that I get it right.
Diversified money.
Thank you. Diversified money. I just had literally a brain fart right now. So
just always remember, like DM, like direct mail or direct messenger, and diversified money. DM.
Because I want you guys to start thinking about your financial futures as well. I really want you, and you can email Gene. I don't know how's my thumb be doing this still thing here. You can email Gene and also email Byron, because we want to help you get to some financial freedoms and get into some things that will help and rescue you out of your debt and get you just on a great financial path as well. And I think because if they did it in the early 1900s, we can do it again. Okay. And so
Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street. Make sure y'all.
A lot of people should have did all that EDD money they stealing. They should have put it together and waited for the damn market to crash so that they could buy a property with this. While they in jail, they at least sitting on a property.
Oh, God, I love Jean because she just. All right. Any questions, comments before we get out of here, folks? I see Brian Atterbury Byron look like the anime characters who those glasses, the light reflecting off the lenses. Thank you, Brian. We thank you. Yes, he was talking about you, B. You.
That's my pearls.
Oh, man. So we gave a shout out to everybody. Do you have any questions for us before we get out of here? I just want to leave you, and of course we want to have our brother do something, but I just want to leave you uplifted that you make the change you want to see. All right? You make the change you want to see, because it is not going to change unless you do it. It's not. So you make the change you want to see. We got to do this together, y'all. I don't want to keep talking about this being a black and a white thing. I just want to talk about what can we do together? What can we do to make this better?
Everybody wants to see the baby. Nobody wants to go through the childbirth. So you have to understand that childbirth is painful, and that's what we're going through right now. And you need to embrace the process of the pain, because it's telling you that you are close to that next level. If you're comfortable and you're not feeling any pain, you're not doing shit. You're waiting for the pain to come get you. Just walk through it.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I take you back. As a kid, God put that Bible story Jonah and the whale in my life, and I always kept wondering, like, why was that for? And I see that, and it's like, be dormant, but you still gonna have to complete your assignment because it's been given to you. You're
And
gonna
it's
have to
just gonna
do
hurt
it.
more.
That's it. But can you imagine Jonah in that whale stinking all the crud and
No.
the shrimp and all the stuff the whale ate in the belly and the darkness and the deep, and you listening to the ocean on the outside and you breathing in all that nastiness?
It's
Can
the
you
same
imagine?
thing. Imagine being pregnant and be like, I ain't pregnant, I ain't dealing with this, and you stirring,
Yeah.
you in labor, you're like, I'm not dealing with this. That is going to be more painful than you saying 6 months before your pregnancy,
Yes.
doctor, I'm going to need an epidural. I'm going to get ready. I have to go through this, but I need to make this as smooth as possible for me and the child so that we can get to the other side.
Can you imagine day one? It's like, what? Damn, I'm in the belly of a whale.
A whale.
Wait a minute. Wait. Can you imagine the pressure? Because when whales go deep, so can you imagine the pressure that is on your ears, on your body? You feeling that tightness because pressure is tight. Can you imagine? And then the second day, you still under that pressure. You just like, and then now you hungry because the second day done kicked in. You hungry. Now you can smell is this crud all around you, this ickiness. And you really thinking like, Lord, you really got me in the bed. The third day come along, that pressure has built and it's so intense. It's like, and then boom, he spits you out on the beach.
Sound like chopper.
I'm telling you,
boom.
Under pressure, y'all need to really go and study Jonah and the whale, because under pressure is when you can get and pull yourself out of some amazing stuff.
Facts.
And be birthed into what I'm telling you, when he came out of there, nobody else was going to go to Nineveh and do what he had to do because that was his assignment. But he had to go through that pressure. A lot of preachers, I remember as a kid, they would always, he was in the belly. Think about what was going on in that belly, that nastiness, the belly, the whale burping. Oh, just all that garbage.
Okay,
all of that in there.
I get the visual.
Yeah, well, some people need to understand that. And then to be spat out and for an angel to talk to him and say pretty much, you know what your assignment is. So people, please, I beg you, if you don't know, ask the good Lord what your assignment is, because some things need to change in this country. My brother and sister that sit and work with me at this table, we doing the assignment, y'all. You know, we work on our assignment daily. Please work on you. How do I find my major assignment? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you how you find it. You wake up with a yearning, a thought, a vision every single day. You can't run from it. You try to ignore it, but it's that thing that keeps you. It will not escape you. Sometimes it won't even let you sleep at night. That is what that is for you.
And
that is what that is.
Clear about what it is. Ask. Most people just don't ask. Pray about it. Meditate and ask. And put up that message that just came up about the Rick Ross quote, because there's actually some truth to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad Trump became the president because we got to destroy before we can elevate. That's facts.
Yep.
That's facts, Brian.
Byron, how would you answer the question for Fatima?
Peel it off. Unbelievable.
We don't have enough time. You know what I will say? I did tap in. I have one of my pupils in it. She knows. She's just asking to be asking. The thing about purpose is that purpose has to actually entail another person. You know, if I actually say Forex, if I say job, if I say network marketing, if I say ACN, if I say singing, if I say dancing with the show, it's amazing how every person has an opinion. But if you had 7 figures in your bank account, you wouldn't have an opinion anymore. You only have an opinion because of your experience. And until you change your experience, then it's going to be your truth. Now, in that, living in purpose has nothing to do with what it is. And it really has nothing to do with who it is. It has to do with who the fuck you are. And until you want to actually alter your state, your lens, and your perspective on who you are, can you actually deep dive into something that may not be appealing to you only because you only know it to your limitations of thought?
Mm-hmm.
So you asked to close. I actually wrote this, and there's a few people who are present to it. It's actually one of my greatest downloads. I don't know if you guys actually read the feed. That was done at 3 o'clock in the morning without hesitation, not premeditated in any way. So I'll share it to close. It says, never assess your relationships in the honeymoon. Wait until tragedy, lack, emergency shows up. Wait until financial, emotional, and physical space is requested, not needed. And any of these will be your barometer of truth. And the people that are real in your life, I believe we accumulate people the way we do things and clothes, most of which will not keep you warm, comfortable, nor happy long term, but emotionally purchased in the moment. Shoes that look cute that you can't wear long because you'll get corns.
Pop the corns, feed the children.
If we use more wisdom, we're more practical and have better judgments. Our lives would not be filled with text messages, emails, inboxes, to the point that we are so overwhelmed that we don't even want to check our messages anymore. Inboxes or mediums of communication. In turn, we miss the important pieces to our lives in the value of amazing people because they are blurred with so many non-essentials that we can't even decipher the great ones from the good ones, or the good ones from the non-essentials, let alone the great ones. Maybe it's time during this non-voluntary, this goes back and brings it full circle, CJ, to the beginning conversation you had as far as this time. Maybe it's time during this non-voluntary quarantine to take inventory so we can have amazing, meaningful relationships with individuals that bring more to the table than a moment of seasonal good feelings. For many don't possess the resources to help you if they wanted to. And there are those that have the resources that their experiences, culture, or lack of spirit would prefer to have an intelligent conversation in justification versus just telling you, I am a selfish person working on myself that has been taught and experienced to take care of myself before serving someone else selflessly. I myself prefer the latter and can respect it a lot more than the bullshit conversation people have sold themselves and then want to sell you on their own validation.
Hold on. Say that again. Oh, I go through that. Say that again, please.
I myself prefer the latter, the truth, and can respect it a lot more than the bullshit conversation people have sold themselves on and then want to sell you on their validation. Fortunately, I have built myself to a person who gives more than I take, to love more than is required. 3, forgive myself while taking responsibility for where I may show up short. I must confess that I have not always been like this. It comes from overstanding the equilibrium in the law of reciprocity. Sometimes we have to lose so much to appreciate the little that God has given us, which was never a little in the first place, but just enough in every situation we have created for ourselves. Hashtag facts. So before you have an opinion about someone's direction, you might want to grow yourself a little bit more before having
that's my cousin Quanda.
An intelligent, stupid conversation. You know, you can. I just, there's no way I can claim, you know, Jean Grey as a friend and have an opinion about her working a job. There's no way I can claim you as a friend and have an opinion about you working on Dancing with the Stars. It's amazing how people will claim me as a friend but have an opinion about what I do. Stay the fuck out of my life. If you can't back me, support me, get in with me, get dirty with me, if I ask for your help, jump in for a month or two, I don't need you in my life. Because I'm that person that will jump in. I can't sing a note, but you ask me, it's like, look, I need you to just lip sing.
Just stand here and be here.
Act like you can sing and just stand here next to me. I'm not going to open my mouth because,
I know that for a fact.
You say, if Dean said I need to show up in my job, I'm showing up. Don't have, I mean, you got so many people live in this limited, small mind about who and what versus who they're being. That's the season I'm in. That being said, we love every one of you. Thank you. Next
Y'all
Tuesday.
see, y'all see why we love this brother. Y'all see.
4 days we will be back on. It will
That's
be
right.
on Tuesday
Tuesday.
Yeah.
at the regular
Tuesday.
time.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Hey, did we start the Latin month yet?
Yeah, it started September 15th.
15.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. It's
And we are
and
gonna
yeah, and Consuela, if you watching, my house is ready. I just on this month, come to my house. It's ready. Clothes everywhere. They just need to be folded. Thank you.
I need you to sing a song to bring Consuelo home.
De colores. Okay, no, I'm just.
CJ, you in danger.
I know. I'm gonna get so many racist emails
You
and
in
all
danger,
that stuff.
boy.
Yeah, well, look, I people think I'm Latin anyway, so it's all right. It's all good.
My eyes started twitching.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, I'll do what I started with because I love this song.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all heard it on Selena was one of my favorite artists, like ever. She could just sing.
Why you say what? She's dead.
She is.
Oh.
Selena's been gone for almost 25 years. Hispanic Heritage Month.
And we will be back right after our
Consuela.
Bring us home. Sing Selena's song.
I do not. Go ahead.
Te di todo mi amor y más. Y tú no reconoces ni lo que es amar. Y yo me puse dispuesta a tus pies. Y tan solo con mis besos me has pagado, pero ahora si una vez dejé que te amaba, o me arrepiento. Si una vez dejé que te amaba, no sé lo que pensé, estaba loco. Si una vez dejé que te amaba y que por ti la vida daba. Si una vez dejé que te amaba, no vuelvas. Ese error es consumado. There you go. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes. I love it too much. That's why I stayed in Colombia for 3 años.
He should, y'all. He go to Colombia all the time. He know it. He know them folks.
Mexico y Colombia. Sí.
What?
Mexico.
Where's my banjo? Brian, this ain't Kentucky. This ain't Kentucky, Brian. You sure have a pretty mouth.
Come on over here, boy.
Come on over here. Make you feel like a pig.
Oh, shit. Bring your ass with it.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Claudia. All right. Well, we love y'all. Oh,
we love you.
Ray, bring the brats back in, Gene.
You can bring them
Monique,
back in.
We forgot. We left them out.
Before you, Jean Grey, Monique, I'm taking care of that tonight for you. I know I'm 24 hours behind. You know what I'm going through. I love you. I'll take care of you tonight. Jean Grey, bring them home and tell them to bring it back in the bratty ass, naughty nose baby kids.
Right. Y'all know how I feel about bring back your badass children who's probably in the room cussing while you ain't looking. Right now, playing on a PlayStation, cussing people out, bring them back in so they can act normal. And bring your little elderly people who act like they wasn't cussing before they got old. Bring them back into it.
And to all the mothers who have like 16-year-old, 17-year-old sons, let him take long showers. He's finding himself. Okay?
Hey.
All right. That Alice. He's exploring.
Ghetto ass Alizé.
Well,
bring out the coconut oil.
You know what? All y'all need some disinfectant. Y'all just need justice. Great. Bye, y'all. We thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Bring It to the Table. We will see y'all on Tuesday.
We love you. Deuces.